Hey, it's Jess, and welcome back to another speed build in my Haven's Hollow save file. Today is quite a small speed build. I don't remember how big this lot is, but I think it's something like 30 by 30. It's quite a small lot. It's bigger than like the normal starter lots in The Sims, but not my bunch. So this is very much a small vet practice. That is what this build is. It's a vet clinic. And it's fully functioning as a vet clinic, including all the optional items that a vet can or cannot have, despite being so tiny. It's definitely a tight squeeze, but that's kind of how I wanted it to be anyway, because, this is a small town. This is the only vet, the only, practicing vet in the entirety of Haven's Hollow. So I wanted it to be, small and cozy and cute, and it definitely ends up being that. It's in the Cape Cod style, which has been the style for this entire neighborhood. I think it's Cavalier's Cove in Brindleton Bay, if I recall correctly. That is the neighborhood we're currently working on, and it's the second to last neighborhood that we have to do. But the last neighborhood, I'm using air quotes, is just Deadgrass Isle, which is one lot. And even though it's a very big lot, it's kind of a stretch to call it a neighborhood. So anyways, this is our last small lot in the entire save file. Every other smaller lot has been filled, and from here on out, it's just scary, very big lots, which will probably take up a lot more time. This I was able to crank out in 2 hours, I think. Maybe not even that. I think I only sped it up to 400%, which usually I do 450. So very much a small build. Did not take me a long time. And I also kept in the entire build for this video as well. Usually in builds I'll, cut out landscaping or cut out the floor plan or me choosing wallpaper, because usually it takes me a really long time. But not this time. It was a pretty simple process. And I ended up using, you'll see this later, some of the new items from the birthday update, 25th anniversary or something, like the doors, which are beautiful. I think that might be the only thing I actually used from the update, but the doors and the windows look so nice. I'm happy we have them now, especially for those of you that play only base game. It's nice to have some actual good doors and windows. The base game's okay, but I often don't find myself using base game items when it comes to that. But then again, I do love those big glass doors in the base game, so maybe I'm lying. But I did end up using those. I don't know all the new items from that update. I have not been too invested in that. I didn't even update my game for quite a long time after, I think it was January 27th or 28th was the update. I pretty much had a couple weeks where I just did not update my game because I didn't want to deal with transferring my mods over and all that stressfulness. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it later after I finish my recordings before my break. Speaking of my break, this will probably be the last video in February. Now, there might be an odd lawn play, maybe once. I would not look forward to it though. I do not have plans to do anymore, just because I'm moving and I'm starting a new job in a foreign country that I am not fluent in the language, so it's going to be a stressful time. So this is likely the last video in February. Definitely the last speed build, I think, because the rest of the lots in the save file, as I said, are huge, and they're going to take a really long time. So weekly speed builds not happening in February. Hopefully I'll be back by the first week of March. I don't know, it might be the second week, because even though I leave in, less than a week now, I'm not prepared. Even though I leave in less than a week, I have a week of orientation before I start working. So I won't be working until basically the end of February. So beginning of March, hopefully within the first 2 weeks, we'll have videos going up again. We'll see how stressed I get out about that because that is very stressful. But that is currently the plan, to come back in March. No more videos in February except for maybe one lawn play, maybe two. It depends on like my schedule because, lawn plays are really easy to make. I just have to film it and then export it and import it to YouTube. Like, it's really easy. It's really easy. But stuff like speed builds or my Let's Play series, like my challenge series, I don't know what you'd call it, take quite a bit more effort. And even though like the lawn plays take a long time to like film, I don't have to like worry about editing or anything. So you might see one or two of those if you guys are interested in watching the lawn plays. But speed builds will be back in March. At least one in March. I'm hoping for two, but as I said, these are big lots and I am not great at building, so I can't do things really quickly in this sense. That's just not how I am built. So look forward to me returning in March, and we'll continue with the save file. I've really been enjoying making this save file, and this build, even though it's like a vet and is a very practical building, is not super lore heavy, but it does have an important character, I guess. The vet of the town is the mayor's husband. Now, if you haven't seen my past speed build for the town hall where I talked about the mayor, basically she was not born or raised in Havens Hollow, which is like unheard of. Every mayor before her was born and raised in Havens Hollow, so to have her like just come in and be voted in as mayor when she isn't even like a local is crazy. But her husband, the vet, who is very well respected in town, is a local. He was born and raised here. I imagine maybe his father was also a vet. I haven't quite flushed out his backstory yet, but that's the general idea. This is the mayor's husband. He is the practicing vet in Havens Hollow, and he's just loved by everyone in town. Like, I imagine in high school he like played the big sport of this town. I still haven't decided what I want that to be, but I'm leaning towards maybe baseball. I don't know. If you guys know anything about what sports people in New England are passionate about, let me know, because I have no idea. I'm not a sports girl, as I imagine quite a few simmers are not. But yes, that is my general idea for the vet who practices here. I have a name for him. I've completely forgotten it, so forgive me. But, he is your typical, like, just golden boy, all grown up, is basically the idea. And then he has a daughter who is, like, really, really smart. And she is Corine's academic rival. And then again, if you guys are just tuning in and haven't listened to any other speed builds in this series, Havens Hollow is like a sleepy New England town that's always quiet and nothing bad happens, and then suddenly Corine Sanford goes missing. So there's your background. I haven't talked much about the story in this one because I've talked about it a lot in past speed builds. So if you want to know more about the story, Corine, our missing person, the function of how this case file will work and how you can solve the mystery, you can go back and go onto my channel, and there is a whole playlist of these speed builds from the first to this one, and you can catch up on the story. It's changed a bit from the beginning, but not too much. I basically had my base storyline figured out by the time I started the speed builds. So generally, what I say in there rings true at this point in time. It's been quite a while. I can't believe, like, it's almost March. I mean, it's not, but it feels like it is. And that means winter is almost over. And I started this in October during, like, peak of autumn where everything's just, like, all these beautiful colors. And now it's kind of weird to have all these autumnal builds when it's the dead cold of winter. But by the time done, it will probably be spring, so it will be even stranger, honestly. But autumn is my favorite time of year, so I'm always happy to build with all the pretty colors. And I think Brindleton Bay is just the most beautiful world in the autumn season. I don't know what it is about it. I think different worlds have the different season they look best in, and Brindleton Bay is definitely fall or autumn. I'm trying to think of ones that look good in other seasons. I know I really like how San Myshuno looks in the winter, all covered in snow. But yes, the autumnal vibes I am not mad at, even though it is nearing springtime and it's the dead of winter and fall has passed. I'm still very much in the autumn spirit. I always am. That's just a year-round thing for me. Anyways, let's talk a bit about the build now, because I haven't talked about it at all. I am currently working on this back garden area, or I guess side garden, where there's a bunch of things for like cats and dogs to play with, and there's like the training areas where you can train your dog if you wish. I have never once done that in my time in The Sims. I think I tried it once, actually. I think I tried it, and then I realized I didn't place down enough items to work with the training, and I gave up. I don't even use like the non-item training, like teach how to sit or to speak. I don't do that either. Is it worth it? Because I know dogs can kind of be annoying in The Sims, which is why I don't play them that much. I usually play cats more than I play dogs, simply because cats kind of take care of themselves. With it, that's like not really a preference I have in real life. I love cats and dogs pretty much equally, but in The Sims I definitely prefer cats because they're less work. And maybe I'd prefer dogs if you could play as pets, but also I don't really want to play as pets. I know that's controversial. People either really hate that you can't play with pets or love that you can't. I'm in the love category. I do not feel like playing with pets would enhance my gameplay at all. I like that I don't play directly with them. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with that. Anyways, yes, I'm using the new door now for the inside. I used the new doors also for the outside on the decks, but specifically for the inside, I love these white doors. They're just so pretty, they're so simple, they can work in so many contexts. Like, we need more items just added to the base game. Like, the base game feels so dry, and I feel so bad for those of you who only have the base game, because then you have sad builds. But there are some really good builds on the gallery that are base game only. I cannot build base game only. That is not within my capabilities whatsoever. So yeah, I do not have like good memories of playing only base game, which I did for quite a long time. I think years, like 1 or 2, probably 2 years. I played just base game, and for the first year of that I couldn't figure out how to get custom content, so I played base game, no mods. I could never go back to that. I wonder how I even functioned by playing base game, no mods. I look back at all my Sims and they look ugly. I look back at all my builds and some of them are okay, actually. Speaking of, I'm like going off on a tangent now, but I'm thinking for a speed build once I finish this save file. I kind of want to go back and redo the first build I ever made in The Sims, which, when I looked at it, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still pretty terrible. So I think that could be a fun thing to do. I might do that, not as a speed build, but just, I don't know what you call it when you build on screen in real time. Just a build? I have no idea, but that's what I'm thinking. So I'm planning ahead for the future because this save file feels so close to complete, even though I know it's nowhere near that. Like, even after I finish the 3 more builds after this one, which will take me a really long time because they're massive, and especially the one on Deadgrass Isle because I plan to use so many debug objects, that one is going to take it out of me. I lost my train of thought. I was talking about something at some point. I was talking about plans for the future, yes. I'm thinking about plans for the future. But it's going to be a long time still, because after I finish all the speed builds, I still have to go through and add all the autumnal decorations and add all the tool objects that I'll move off lot to make the world more full. Thankfully, Brindleton Bay is kind of already a good world that the Sims have made. You know, I feel like the Sims team, they do a good job generally. But sometimes the worlds, especially the older ones, feel really lackluster. You know, even the new ones. Honestly. Like, there's just not enough going on. So I'm going to try my best to figure out Tool, even though I'm quite literally terrible at it. I'm terrible at Tool. Like, it is nearly shocking how terrible I am at using Tool. You know, for simple things, where I just have to, like, raise an object, or make it smaller, or like move it just a little bit, that I'm good with. Taking things off lot and then manipulating them off lot, not even close to being good at that. Not gonna happen like that. I'm just terrible at that. So hopefully it won't be too much of a stressor. I don't know if I'd do that on camera, maybe in like a non-commentary lawn play, maybe even in a commentary lawn play. I haven't quite decided yet. But that is going to take up a lot of time, which hopefully will let me work on the actual case file, because that is going to be the big thing that will dictate when this save file is released to you guys to play. Because even though the world feels close to done, the save file is still far from it. I haven't gotten too much work on it, sadly. The case file hasn't developed much. And the mystery hasn't developed much since I updated you guys last week. But I am working on the interviews, which I think will be the most time-consuming part, except for maybe the clues you find through, like, in-home investigations, like when you investigate rooms and look for clues. I think those two will take the longest amount of time. Even though interrogations are really important, there's not as many of them, because not everyone in this world is a suspect that you can interrogate. And so, take that as you will. We'll see how the case file goes. I'm hoping to put my Google Drive in offline mode and be able to take that document, my case file, offline, because then I can work on it on the plane, and I'm going to have a lot to do on the plane. I think, including my 1 hour layover, I have a 16-hour journey. So it's going to be a long time, and I'm going to need entertainment. And if I can get work on the case file done, that will be fantastic, honestly. So that is the current plan for the case file. Hopefully by the time I get back to you guys in March, I will have more updates regarding the case file, rather than what I've been doing for the last little while, which is just, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I have no updates regarding the case file, but here's a cool build I have for you. So hopefully the time off, I'll be able to work on that. That being said, I will be busy, so I wouldn't to get your hopes up, just like I'm trying not to get my hopes up about my ability to do anything in the coming weeks. Anyways, I've gone on a tangent now, and we're now done with the speed build, and I'm talking through the screenshots, which I usually don't do. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry for rambling on so much, but please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of this save file, and I'll see you all in hopefully a month. Peace and love. Bye.